What if the weapon you chose revealed your deepest wound? Zoey loves turtles, creatures with homes on their backs, identities that never drift. But her weapon of choice? Knives that force her to leave safety and leap into chaos. That isn't a contradiction. It's her entire emotional arc in sharp, gleaming metal. See, most people assume Zoey uses spirit blades because they match her personality. Quick, energetic, flashy. And the film even supports this reading. Director Maggie Kang said she gave Zoey daggers she could throw to the beat because of her poppy rapper energy. But this explanation completely misses the deeper symbolism. Because here's what we know about Zoey. She's obsessed with turtles. Her room is full of turtle plushies, she draws them constantly, she even has turtle-themed accessories. And there's a reason for this obsession that psychology can actually explain. Zoey represents what we can call a heritage culture struggle. Second-generation kids who feel like they have one foot in American culture and the other in their parents' Korean heritage, fully belonging to neither. Their specific trauma isn't traditional displacement, but a form of grief for a connection to a motherland they only know through stories, creating a sense of being an outsider to their own heritage while never feeling fully American either. Turtles represent her ultimate fantasy, creatures that never experience this pain because home is literally built into their bodies. They carry their safe space wherever they go, never having to earn belonging, never risking abandonment. For someone caught between heritage and adopted cultures, never feeling fully connected to either, that shell represents everything she's never had. So why would someone with this specific psychological profile choose weapons that force her to do the exact opposite? Why choose tools that require her to actively fight and carve out her space instead of just carrying it with her? Because that turtle mindset is exactly what's keeping her trapped. To understand what's really happening, we need to explore what psychologists call locus of control and how Korean shamanic tradition provides the perfect tool for shifting it. Zoey starts with what's called an external locus of control. She believes her life is controlled by outside forces, her parents' divorce, cultures that won't fully claim her, circumstances beyond her influence. The turtle represents this mindset perfectly. Safety that's given, not earned. Belonging that's built in, not fought for. The shinkal, literally spirit blade, represents the complete opposite. In Korean shamanic tradition, these aren't just weapons. They're tools of active creation, used by Mudong shamans to carve out sacred space, to separate good from evil, to define boundaries through decisive action. These blades are specifically used by Kangshinmu, shamans who don't inherit their power through family, but receive a direct, often traumatic calling from the spirits. This calling manifests as shinbyong, or spirit sickness, a period where you feel torn between worlds, belonging to neither. And if the theory about her mother is correct, that she is the missing third sunlight sister who abandoned her hunter calling, then this explains everything. When a shamanic lineage is broken, when someone flees their spiritual duty, that power doesn't just disappear. It gets forced onto the next generation through the painful, traumatic path of shinbyong, rather than the gentler, hereditary route. This matches exactly what second-generation heritage culture kids experience, but Zoey's version is spiritually amplified. The Shin call forces Zoey to develop what psychologists call an internal locus of control, the belief that she can affect her outcomes through her own actions. Every blade she throws is practice in cause and effect. Every demon she defeats is proof that her actions matter, that she can create safety rather than just hoping for it. Now, let's connect this to Zoey's specific journey. Her turtle obsession represents her psychological coping mechanism as someone caught between heritage and adopted cultures with unresolved grief from incomplete cultural connection. This connects to something deeply Korean she's processing: Han, a uniquely Korean emotion that's more than just sadness. Han is collective sorrow, unresolved resentment against injustices suffered, the feeling of helplessness against forces beyond your control. For Zoey, that's her parents' divorce, the heritage culture that feels always just out of reach, the sense of being a cultural outsider in her own family story. The brilliant thing is Han isn't just suffering, it's also the source of creative and protective power when transformed. This connects perfectly to her dual role. As the group's lyricist, Zoey takes chaotic emotions and cuts them down into precise, powerful words that define their mission. As a warrior, she takes that same Han, that deep sorrow and injustice, and transforms it into the power to protect her found family.
The mechanism that makes this healing possible, every time she throws her blades, she's reenacting the core trauma of heritage culture disconnect, sending part of herself towards something she's never fully possessed, unsure if it will accept her. Her initial hesitation and anxiety mirror the second-generation fear that their heritage will always remain just out of reach. But unlike the heritage connection she's always felt was incomplete, the cultural identity that never quite fit, the sense of belonging to her Korean roots that felt always just out of reach, the Shinchal always come back. They're proving to her nervous system what her mind couldn't believe, that release doesn't have to mean loss, which means she can finally risk loving her found family with her whole heart, instead of always keeping one foot out the door. Her fighting style looks chaotic, that storm of multiple blades flying everywhere, but it's actually the opposite of turtle logic. Instead of hiding in one protective shell, she's creating multiple points of active defense, claiming space through action rather than withdrawal. Every throw is her practicing the hardest lesson for someone with external locus of control, that safety isn't something you find, it's something you forge with your own hands. If you watch Zoey's fighting style throughout the film, you can actually see this emotional journey playing out in how she uses her weapons. Early in her training, her throws are tentative, almost reluctant. She hurls the blades, but you can see the anxiety in her body language, like she's not sure they'll come back. She's still learning to trust the connection. But as she grows more confident, more secure in her place with Huntrix, her throws become more fluid, more certain. She's not just throwing weapons, she's practicing faith. She's learning that displacement doesn't mean abandonment. A detail that will break your heart. The Shinchal are adorned with norige, traditional Korean ornamental pendants that symbolize good fortune and protection. But they're also often family heirlooms, passed down through generations. For Zoey, who's still searching for her connection to her Korean heritage and possibly her mother, these weapons aren't just tools, they're aspirational anchors to belonging. If the third Sunlight Sister theory is true, these might even carry the spiritual echo of the lineage her mother abandoned. Every time she throws them and they return, she's proving to herself that this heritage won't abandon her the way her mother did, that her Korean identity, her spiritual calling, her place in this found family are all real, they're all hers, and they won't leave her behind. What's really happening in Zoey's arc is a journey through 3 distinct evolutionary stages, each represented by a different archetype. Stage 1, the hiding turtle. She starts with passive defense and external locus of control, waiting for belonging to be granted by forces outside herself. Stage 2, the cutting blade. She learns active creation and internal locus of control, understanding that she must carve out her place in the world through her own actions. It's like that scene in Moana when she realizes no demigod is going to return the heart of Te Fiti for her. She has to do it. Zoey's Shinchal moment is exactly that. Not a gift, but a choice to take up the blade and make the path herself. There's a third stage that the film is building towards, and it's the most powerful of all. Stage 3, the Lion Queen. This isn't just about learning to protect herself anymore. It's about becoming someone who creates safe space for others. And if her mother truly was the third Sunlight Sister who abandoned her calling, then Zoey isn't just healing her own trauma, she's completing a broken spiritual lineage.
There's a reason K-pop has this concept of girl crush and queen archetypes, idols who project such complete self-possession that they empower their audience to find their own strength. Listen to the lyrics of Idol's Lion. I'm a queen like a lion. I create a new path no one has attempted before. This is the voice of complete internal locus of control, someone who has stopped reacting to their circumstances and started defining them.
Zoey's journey isn't just about healing her own heritage culture trauma, it's about transforming that pain, her Han, into the power to protect her entire found family. She evolves from someone who needs a shell to someone who wields a blade, to someone who becomes the sanctuary itself. She doesn't carry weapons, she carries the revolutionary realization that she was never meant to hide in a shell or even just swing a sword. She was meant to be the queen, the one who actively creates the safe space where others can find their own belonging. And that's why Zoey's weapon choice is so much deeper than just throwing knives match her energy. In a story about K-pop demon hunters, she's fighting the most relatable demon of all, the fantasy that belonging should come easy, that home is something you find rather than something you build. Her weapon teaches her the hardest lesson. Sometimes you have to stop waiting to carry your home and start carving it out of the world. And if she really is the daughter of the third Sunlight sister, then she's not just finding her place, she's reclaiming a destiny that was almost lost forever. And maybe we're all Zoey in some way, haunted by homes we never found, carrying bags that feel heavier the longer we travel. The question is, will we keep waiting for someone to hand us a home, or will we finally draw the blade and carve one ourselves? What do you think? Does this change how you see Zoey's relationship with her turtle obsession? And do you buy the theory that her mother's abandonment of her shamanic calling is what made Zoey's path so much more painful? Let me know in the comments below. And if this opened your eyes to something new about K-pop demon hunters, smash that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden meanings behind your favorite characters.